Hey, this is Tyler from Subspace Transmissions.
And I'm Cam.
Cam, we just watched Star Trek Voyager Equinox Parts 1 and 2 for the podcast. We take a deep dive into, I think it's safe to say, it's one of our favorite Star Trek Voyager two-part episodes. And I think the question we walked away with is, well, would Star Trek Equinox perhaps work as like a series, perhaps? I don't know.
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
No.
Okay.
I think it would be very interesting to see Equinox as a series, although I do question if it would work in the 90s. I think it would definitely work now because it is a, grittier, darker, I think, series. When you have Rudy Ransom, I mean, he's not all joy and, delivering Shakespearean monologues on the bridge like, say, Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
Or doing the, Kirk sort of fisticuff type of stuff. But I do think he feels like a very contemporary character. I think if you put him in a series nowadays, like a 13-episode arc series, it could be really interesting.
Well, my big pitch is that it would have been cool for this two-parter to actually show the crew, the Equinox crew, where they started in year one of their journey. And then just every other scene until we get to year 5, we could have seen kind of like this descent of the crew. And I think that would have been cool to see. But over like maybe a 5-year journey, I think it would have worked because, look, he spelled it out. The first week in the Delta Quadrant was the worst they could have ever experienced. They lost half their crew. Yeah. That would have been a pretty brutal pilot, but I don't think every single week would have been as dark as, say, this Equinox two-parter.
What was the first week like for Voyager?
The Kazon wanted water.
Chilling.
Ooh, yeah. So I think Voyager had, look, it's hills and its valleys, and I think that Equinox could have had that as well. But we also brought something up, and I think you actually posed this question to me on the podcast as well, but what was the darkest period that Voyager ever experienced that actually mattered? Because, Year of Hell, we got the big giant reset button, which Voyager was often very guilty of.
Right. So it kind of doesn't count.
It doesn't really count.
If the crew doesn't remember the events of it,
yeah.
then...
So for you, what was maybe the darkest point up until this that Voyager actually experienced, that they actually remembered and could have taken away lessons from?
I mean, I feel like Basics offered a really good glimpse at that, where they are stranded on this rock planet. The Kazon have taken off with their ship. And so I think there is that sense of like, we may be stranded here forever. And I think that would build character, even though we know they're getting their ship back. We know that things are going to be wrapped up in the, premiere of the next season. The characters don't know that. Right. And so I think for them, that is a very trying time. And they got a rock, like a monster in the cave nearby that's like eating people. So it's a little tense.
For me, I mean, it was definitely... Scorpion is when they seemed to be at their most desperate, where it could have been like they had 8472 on one side of them. They had the Borg on the other side of them. And either way, it seemed like... a real bad outcome for the crew. So it's interesting to find them at Equinox, and I think there's so much more potential for them to explore, I guess, the fallout of what this particular adventure meant for them. Would you have liked to have seen the remaining Equinox crew members return in reoccurring roles in Star Trek Voyager throughout seasons 6 and 7?
Heck yes.
Yeah, I know.
Definitely think a different series would have seen the addition of those characters as like a shot in the arm of how to pay off the rest of this series. To have these characters working their way in. Like, imagine if by the end of season 7 Voyager, you have these Equinox characters gaining back the respect of Janeway by the end. Like, they are equal crew members at the end of the story. I actually think that would have brought a lot. Instead, we got Borg children.
Icheb.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Cam, let me pitch this to you. Alex Kurtzman, he has to do about, what, like 7 or 8 more spin-off series as per his new CBS contract?
Right. Per year.
Could they do an Equinox spin-off right now, and then, I don't know, maybe they explain that the crew got really old at one point, and then
like counterclock incident?
Yeah, something like that.
Or that's the deadly years, I guess, is really get old. They get young in counterclock.
Yeah. Or else maybe, you start off, episode 1, they all kind of look 20 years older.
Sure.
But then they encounter, right before the Equinox adventure in Voyager, I don't know, a Fountain of Youth sort of planet, and that explains, their present condition on Star Trek Voyager.
I mean, look, I'm going to watch it no matter what.
Yeah.
Although, I feel like had the Equinox story been on TNG, we might have seen a spinoff.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like when it happens in Voyager, Enterprise, or DS9, it's kind of off the table for what CBS is looking at this point in time. Like, I just don't think it offers the marketability that a TNG story might have.
So, too bad for Neelix, but I'm looking forward to the Mr. Mott spin-off series that will be coming soon to CBS All Access.
It's a reality show.
Yeah. Hey, nice hat, by the way.
Thank you.